Thank you for choosing our Patio Heat channel. I'm Steve. We provide tips and information to extend the enjoyment of your patio project. Our videos give you a knowledgeable overview prior to investing in your outdoor heating equipment. Whether you are a professional or owner-builder, we provide specific details for optimum heat coverage for your application. Post a comment or question, or for developed visual designs, send your request into designs@patioheat.com. We're here to work with you. For over 30 years, patio heating is the bedrock of our business, expressing what works best. Now let's get heating. Hi, so this is a commercial restaurant application, and let's go ahead and look at the overall dimensions that I have here. So overall dimensions I have is about 24 feet from the outside edge to the outside edge here. And then I have a total basic sitting positions here at 20 foot 7 inches. It might be 20 foot 6. I did go ahead and get the floor plan for this application, and I marked up this particular space here, and that's what I came up with, about 24 foot and 1/4 of a foot. So let's go ahead and look at some of the other dimensions I have here. I have this overall section here at 24 foot 7, and I also have a height that I came up with about 11 feet off the finished floor. Now this could be 12 foot. This section here is actually 12 inches, this beam here. It actually could be lower, so I'm not 100% certain of that, but this is my best guesstimation on that. We have bar stool seating over here, we have bar stool seating here, and then we have dining space over here. Let's go ahead and turn off those dimensions and look at a couple of different options. So the first option I like the best would be utilizing the Sunpak TSH and S34 combination. So these two units here and this unit here in front would be a TSH. That gives you the flexibility for bar stool seating height to turn the units high and low. So in other words, we have 34,000 BTU output or 25,000 BTU output, and based on the location of this, December is their coldest month of the year. And I also looked at wind. The wind is pushing around 14 miles an hour at the windiest time of the year. And the units themselves, these are gas burning units, so anything above 12 miles per hour on wind is something that you want to be concerned about. You wouldn't want to leave the units on beyond that 12-mile maximum wind speed. And in any case, again, the TSHs allows for that flexibility, especially for these positions here for high-low. Personally, I would probably go with TSHs on all the units, and that gives you a flexibility throughout the whole entire season, where maybe these particular customers here that would like just a low output at different times of the year, when it's, let's say, in the 60s, 65 degree, that maybe they only want 25,000 BTUs. So that gives you a lot of flexibility using the TSHs. Another thing is the maximum height I like of this particular unit is between that 8 and 10 foot max height. So this would be the bottom edge maximum of 10 foot off the finished floor, and I would prefer somewhere in that 8 to 9 if that's possible. So when you mount the heaters, the bracket itself, or this bar here itself, comes in a 21-inch long bracket, so you can I have them mounted on these cross members here, as well as these cross members over here. These are a little bit higher, it looks like, than these. So if you wanted to make sure that they're the same height, maybe you can drop these down, but right now I have these at 17 inches drop down from the actual bar here. The 17 inches is based on the fact that there's a 17-inch clearance. Excuse me, that's 14 inches, 14-inch clearance above the heater itself, and that's for combustible material. Now let's just say that this is all non-combustible, which I believe it might be, because it looks like it's all steel frame. but I'm not sure if there's any cover on top of it. So something else that you have to be concerned about. You would have to keep that 14-inch clearance from any distance that's up here, let's say. So from here down to the top of the heater is that 14 minimum for any combustible material. However, if it's non-combustible, you can go a little bit higher, but again, putting the unit higher than that 10-foot mounting height at the bottom of the unit is something I'm concerned about. I would prefer it to be, like I said, between that 8 and 9 if possible, and 10 at the maximum for the bottom edge of the heater. But in any case, I did place these heaters, tried to center point them based on where it looked like these cross members go. And let's just go ahead and look at those distances that I have. So for what I have right now is 7'9" from center point to center point, and that would be true on this. And I tried to base it on the center point of the patio itself from here to here. And I did have to move them based on where I had this actual cross member here. So it's not exactly in the center, but it's, that's the focus point of the positions of the units themselves. And then you can see over here I have the center point of the heater here to the center point of the heater here at 10 foot center to center. And I have it center point, these first ones center point from the inside edge of this post here at 6'3", and that should be all of what you're looking for. So another thing just to mention is the dimension of the heater itself. So this particular part here is 8 inches wide, 8 inches tall, and 48 inches long. So keep that in mind. And then let's go ahead and look at the footprint of heat. So the footprint of heat is heating up this whole entire patio just perfectly. So this is why I prefer this particular quantity, 6 of the units, and the positions that I like, because you're going to heat up all the space. There might be times where, let's just say this particular customer doesn't want any heat, but these customers want more heat and things of that nature. So this is really something that allows you to be very flexible with this particular application. So that is option 1, and let's go ahead and look at option 2. And that would be possibly using 4 units. These are the same units, TSH, TSH, and TSH, and this one here, S34 or TSH as well. The footprint of heat, well, let's go ahead and look at the distances on this particular application. So you can see from the center point to center point, I have them roughly about 11 feet 7 inches, and that is because of the fact of where these beams are located. Possibly if they're a little bit closer to each other, then I would probably move them in more than out. I like these heaters to be at around 11 max, and we are actually past that 11 max at 11'7" from what I'm showing. But just to say that these cross members here are a little bit further in than what I'm showing, because I don't have the actual structural integrity of the design here. So that would be what I would say is 11 feet max is my preferred, and then 10 foot, I should say 10 foot max is, or minimum is my preferred, and 11 foot max is my other preferred. So the other thing here is we have the center point here at 5'2.5", and then the heaters 10 foot center to center from here to here. Let's go ahead and look at the footprint of heat. And the footprint of heat is fairly decent. I would say the center point here isn't going to be the most comfortable, and when these particular customers ask for less heat, going 25,000 BTUs, then of course this particular table here isn't going to be heated as much. It might be fine for these guys at 25,000, but over here this would not be as perfect. It would be over here, and again this particular position here. So if you're sitting here and it's at 25,000 and it's a cool evening, not cold, but let's say in the 60 to 65 degree area, you might want 25,000 here, but you would definitely want 34,000 sitting lower. The way that this heaters work is that for every foot that is away from the intensity or the output of the heater, the intensity is divided by 4, so you're actually sitting about 1.5 feet less than a bar stool seating height, so the intensity is going to be less here with 25,000 BTUs, or it's actually going to be less either way, 25 or 34. But at 34, this might be too hot when it's 65 degrees, but at 25,000 BTUs, this might be too cold. So yeah, it's something that you'd really want to kind of consider. But yeah, this would work, but it's not my preferred. So I think there's anything else I should mention. Again, the height, I have these mounted on the cross members here at 28.25 inch from outside edge to outside edge, and that's why I have them positioned exactly where I have them if we could. And these positions are a little bit different than what I'm showing, or the location of each one of these beams are different from what I'm showing. Could we move these in slightly? That would be really nice if we can actually just move, let's just say maybe 6.5 inches, or I should say more like 8 inches in. Let's try 8 inches correctly, and then move these 8 inches in this way. If this is possible, that would be great, because you're getting that overlapping ray over here. But then we're starting to look at the outer edge seating positions here not being covered as well. And again, I'm not sure of the exact location of these cross members, so that may or may not work for the back area over here. But let's go ahead and place them back where I had them, and yeah, that would be okay, and this would be excellent. All right, well, I hope this has helped. If you're looking for some assistance with your outdoor heating application and you would like us to review your plans, send your information into designs@patioheat.com. And I'd really like a thumbs up, make a comment, ask a question, and join our YouTube channel. We really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Have an excellent day.